Tyson Degenhart from downtown. And
oh my! Tyson throwing up above the rim.
Stanley throws it away.
It is a cold, damp day in the city of trees. For what better time than now to head inside one of the more hostile basketball venues in the Mountain West Conference. This afternoon, Boise State hosts Fresno State as we begin the second half of Mountain West Conference play. The Bulldogs trying to stay out of the cellar in the Mountain West Conference, just 1-9 in league play. Meanwhile, the Boise State men's basketball team trying to fight to get back into the league race. Currently sit at 6-4 overall in Mountain West Conference games. We welcome you live courtside. Jay Tuss alongside Brian King. And Brian, on Tuesday night, Boise State seemed to refine their rhythm a little bit and got back to the brand of basketball that got them to 3 consecutive NCAA tournaments these last 3 seasons. A solid defensive effort by Boise State in a 10-point victory over Nevada.
Yeah, Jay, that's right. Boise State hangs their hat on defense, right? They play well at home. It was good for them to get back at ExtraMile Arena. They got it done, and that was really a critical win for Boise State.
It'll require a strong defensive effort for the Boise State basketball team today in order to slow down Fresno State star Jalen Weaver, one of the few guys, Brian, that's actually returning for the Bulldogs this season. But he can distribute the basketball, he can drive, he can really score, and coming off a big game against Wyoming.
Yeah, Jalen Weaver, critical component for Fresno State. 23 in a really tough loss at Wyoming, averages 14 points a game. This is a tough place to play for teams. Weaver's going to have to be really explosive today for Fresno to have a shot.
You want to talk about explosive players. Boise State brings one of the more explosive 6 men off the bench in the entire conference. You know, Javen Buchanan is absolutely good enough to start, Brian, but he's coming off the bench for Boise State. He had 19 points in that win over Nevada and made a number of big shots in the second half particularly.
Yeah, what a great pickup for Boise State. I mean, this kid really can score anytime, anywhere, right? Great jump shot, big body, likes to go inside, nice little floater. He likes to back you down. He's going to really have to be a major contributor for Boise State down the stretch as we get close to the end of this thing.
Well, Boise State has dominated this head-to-head recently. The Broncos going for their 6th straight win over the Bulldogs. And again, as we flip the calendar to the month of February, the Broncos know they have to get hot if they want to punch their ticket potentially to a 4th consecutive NCAA tournament. Boise State looking to improve to 10-1 at home today. Tip-off live from ExtraMile Arena up next. Back inside ExtraMile Arena, Bronco Nation filing in. Leon Rice has created one heck of a home court advantage ever since arriving in the City of Trees about 15 years ago, Brian.
Well, Jay really has 13-1 this season at home when they're leading at the half, 10-1 at home. They win by an average of 22 points a game. This is a tough place to play in the Mountain West Conference.
You saw the masked man, R.J. Keene, back in the starting lineup again. Didn't attempt a single shot in Wednesday's win, but boy, did he make an impact. And we are underway here at ExtraMile Arena. Fresno State comes away with the opening tip-off.
Jay, Fresno plays a really unusual style. It's a dribble drive, dribble drive, dribble drive. Their objective, get layups or get fouled and get to the free throw line.
14 on the shot clock. Collins over to Crawford. He tries the 3, a little short. Tyson Degenhart rips away the defensive rebound, and here come the Broncos for the first time on offense. Cardenas almost picks up his dribble. Tyson Degenhart bails him out.
Would not have been a good first possession for Boise State.
Leon Rice messed with his starting lineup prior to the Nevada game, coming out of a bye. Wanted to emphasize defense and rebounding, and boy, did it work against the Wolfpack. Cardenas attempts the 3, a little short. That's R.J. Keene trying to force the tie-up down low. They're actually going to call R.J. Keene for a foul, battling with Morsek.
Boy, tough one right out of the gate for Keene. Looked like he got a couple hands around that basketball.
Another guy that's kind of been in and out of the starting lineup for Boise State, Emmanuel Ugbo, but they like what he brings on the defensive end. And I think when Boise State coaches really went back and they analyzed it, Brian, the guys that kept coming up when it came to the analytics that contributed to good defense, Emmanuel Ugbo and R.J. Keene, along with, obviously, Tyson Degenhart and Alvaro Cardenas.
Yeah, Ugbo, a big body in there, guards the ball screen really well. See Fresno just knocks down a three, take a 3-0 advantage.
Collins from behind the arc gets it to go.
Fresno just 2 or 3 games ago started to play a lot more zone. Seems to be working for them. It seems to be a little confusing for the last 2 teams they've played.
Keene gets trapped in the corner, throws the ball out of bounds off a sec. It's going to stay with Boise State with 14 on the shot clock. Here are your starters for the Bulldogs. They've used a number of different starting lineups so far this season.
Well, not uncommon. First-year coach, new lineup.
In and out for Degenhart. Offensive rebound, Keene. A fresh 20 on the shot clock for Boise State. Keene gets it to Degenhart, over to Meadow. He's going to get an open look at a 3. Rises, fires, misses. Tipped ball, still on the floor. Wow. A loose ball, both teams. It was really Fresno State just trying to corral it. Price had a number of opportunities in this thing. We'll take another look at it, tipping it to himself, and then Meadow bumps into him, and they whistle him for a foul.
2 quick, tough calls on the Broncos. But, hey, they've had 3 really good looks offensively, not able to capitalize yet.
Weaver thinks about a 3, hesitates. Now it's Price down the lane, lays it up, can't finish. Front court pass by Keene, finds Meadow, falling to the ground, still able to lay it up and in. Boise State's on the scoreboard.
Boy, good finish with a lot of contact and a great outlet pass by R.J. Keene.
Showing off those intangibles and a big reason why he's in the starting lineup. A nice baseline drive by Weaver, but just can't quite get it to fall. Going to stay with Boise State. Tipped out of bounds off of Fresno State.
Well, we'll get a look at Meadow again. Great rebound by Keene, a nice little outlet. Watch this athletic finish, Jay. A little bit of contact there.
I think early in Meadow's career, great catch and shoot guy. He's really learned how to put it on the deck, though, in drive if teams close out on him. And you can see right there, even in transition, able to finish through contact.
And the Broncos go to the bench early. Javen Buchanan in. Again, they've got 3 really good looks from the perimeter. Buchanan is likely candidate to get a few of those.
Keene thinks about a 3. Over to the corner. Meadow can't quite handle it. They're going to say it's actually out of bounds off of Price, so there's going to be 5 on the shot clock, and it's going to be Boise State ball. The refs talk about it. Price pleads his case, but it's going to stay with Boise State.
Boise State's had a number of possessions this year that have gone really deep into the shot clock. Usually doesn't end with anything great happening for them.
Over to Buchanan. He's actually going to get an open look, and he hits from behind the arc. Javen Buchanan.
Well, I'll tell you what, you let that kid get started early, it could be lights out for Fresno State. Good finish.
It's Elijah Price, the 6'9" redshirt freshman out of Long Beach, California. One of their better players, a versatile player, does just about everything for this team as the Broncos turn it over. Here comes Weaver into the front court. He's going to attack the body of R.J. Keene through contact, lays it up and in.
Boy, Fresno coming off a really rough loss at Wyoming. Heartbreaking loss for them. Well-coached team, a lot of new players. They're going to win some basketball games down the stretch.
Nice pump fake by Tyson Degenhart, then goes up and under, finishes with the layup, and it's 7-all here at ExtraMile Arena. Again, we flipped the calendar to the month of February, which means we have hit the second half of Mountain West Conference play. And the cool thing this year, Brian, is the fact that every team has a true home and road game against each other, right? Good battle by Price down low. He's going to get fouled. But every team has to go on the road to every venue, and even 20 league games. We are all knotted up at 7 as Javen Buchanan hits the first 3 of the game for Boise State. Still early in this one, kind of a quick start. Both teams tied at 7. We take a look at our keys to the game, Brian. And for Fresno State, they want to limit possessions on the glass. Boise State, obviously really good when it comes to rebounding the basketball.
Yeah, the Broncos wear their hat on that. They've got both teams, really. You have to rebound to win, Jay. It doesn't matter what game it is. And then you see for Boise State, contain Bulldogs' offensive runs and be prepared for the zone, which is a new wrinkle by Vance Wahlberg, and the zone can frustrate teams at times.
You mentioned Vance Wahlberg. He's in his first year here at Fresno State. Kind of been a rough start so far. The Bulldogs only 5-16 so far this season. Coach Wahlberg obviously has a ton of coaching experience. He's with in the NBA with the Sacramento Kings. He was actually previously a head coach with Pepperdine. That was quite a few years ago. Was there for 2 years, and then kind of bounced around a little bit after that. Back underway, Elijah Price at the free throw line. He is the only Bulldog, Brian, to start every game this season as Coach Wahlberg continues to kind of juggle his starting lineup and search for answers.
Well, Price is a really nice-looking freshman. Redshirted Drake, transferred back home to the Fresno Valley, and bright future for this young man.
Goes 1 of 2 at the free throw line, averaging just under 10 points, just over 8 rebounds per game. He puts the Bulldogs back in front.
Yeah, a little 1-2-2 by the Bulldogs. Bowie's going to take a deep one quick.
Right off the bench, down low, Javen Buchanan getting on the offensive glass, the second chance bucket. Thanks to a little bit of effort there by the junior off the bench.
Yeah, one thing he should be able to do better out of his zone is rebound. Not been the case so far.
Collins misses the floater. Boise State with the rebound. Down low to Tyson Dagenhart, trying to fight for a bucket, gets his miss, puts it back up. He's going to go to the free throw line.
Boy, Dagenhart gets the ball that low in the post. It's trouble for any opposing team.
You look at what Boise State has on the floor right now, Brian, maybe their best bunch of shooters, I would say.
Yeah, I was just kind of thinking, it's almost like Boise State wants to play a little quicker than they have been. They've taken a couple of quick in the possession, open shots.
Tyson Dagenhart, the senior out of Spokane, makes his first free throw attempt. Kind of putting him on record watch here, Brian. I mean, I know that he's still got a little ways to go, but he entered this game with 1,738 career points. Now, the all-time record at Boise State for a career is 1,944, so just over 200 points away from breaking the school record. But when you consider he's averaging 18 points per game this year, he certainly has the chance to track that down. If you include today's game, at least 11 more games left in the season for Tyson Dagenhart to try to go get that all-time mark.
He'd have to have a big finish. They'd have to have some tournament games for sure. But, Jay, regardless of where he finishes on that
all-timer
in the books, he's just one of the all-time greats.
Collins tries to attack and pull it back out.
It's the dribble drive we talked about.
Kind of an errant shot attempt. Buchanan gets the rebound, goes around his back. And now Boise State's into the front court. Meadow looking for help, finds Bowie. They'll rotate it back around. It's going to find Meadow again. He gets an open look at a three. Meadow buries it from distance.
Boy, Jay, the ball is moving like we haven't seen it move for Boise State in quite a while. There's a purpose.
Down low, Sek misses. Bowie with the board. Cardenas able to corral it. Meadow thought about it for a second, but they'll pull it back out here.
And 10 on the shot clock.
Open look for three from Tyson Dagenhart, a little strong. Sek with the rebound. Boise State's coming off a game where they only allowed 56 points as Meadow comes behind with the block. It goes right back to a Fresno State player for the easy lay-in, though. Those 56 points, Brian, the second fewest they've allowed against a Mountain West opponent this season. The only time they allowed fewer was in a 41-point win over Wyoming here at ExtraMile Arena a couple of weeks ago. Collins is going to push. Kicks it over to the corner. The three-point attempt a little short.
Boy, really good box out by Bowie.
Here comes Cardenas with the floater, in and out.
Well, again, Broncos getting a lot of really good looks.
Crawford taking it at Cardenas, lays it in.
But Crawford can really score, Jay. He can really score. I think he's got 5 games of 20 points or better in the month of January.
Yeah, averaging 12.1 points per game this season, shooting it at over a 54% clip for the Bulldogs. Meadows going to take it, give him the and one. Attacks the rack, and now he's going to go to the free throw line.
Boy, again, big, strong body on Andrew Meadows. He's okay with contact, and he's strong on the finish.
Omar Stanley going to check into the game for the first time. Tyson Degenhart going to take a quick breather here, likely.
It's just been a quicker pace for the Broncos early.
Meadow completes the three-point play. Boise State pushes their lead to 5, their largest of the game, and now the true freshman going to check in. Meadow going to take a seat, and here comes Peanut Carmichael.
Yeah, good minutes early for the freshman out of Bend, Oregon. I tell you, this kid can really shoot it, Jay. If you leave him open, he's got a beautiful jump shot.
The sample size is small, but shooting it at over 50 or 45% from 3. Tries to hit the floor there. Ball is still loose. Crawford able to get it. 12 on the shot clock. Amunique spins through a pair of Broncos, leaves a layup attempt short. Stanley with the rebound.
Keep it.
Cardenas down low. Stanley pump fakes, lays it up and in.
Boy, good for Stanley to get one early. Good for his confidence. Again, they get Stanley going down the road. This thing could get really interesting for Boise State.
Omar picks up that foul, but Boise State starting to get a little comfortable here, settling in on offense. Omar Stanley, the latest contributor. The Broncos up to their biggest lead of the afternoon. They lead by 7. Back here at ExtraMile Arena, Andrew Meadow, the sophomore, making a big impact here early on, Brian.
Yeah, he can do it in so many different ways, Jay. Of course, 50,000 threes he shot over the summer, so he's obviously confident in the ability. He can defend, he can rebound, just a nice block shot. And the big body, something he's really worked on the last 30 days, finishing strong at the rim. Meadows off to a good start tonight.
Already has 8 points on 3 of 4 shooting. He leads all Boise State scorers. Javen Buchanan right behind him with 5 points off the bench early in this contest. Boise State averaging a little over 1.3 points per possession. You know, the game against Nevada, they got off to a little bit of a slow start offensively, but you felt like they were also definitely emphasizing what they were doing defensively. And now you feel like this is kind of the Boise State team we've seen for most of the season offensively. Pretty smooth so far in this contest.
Yeah, I would absolutely agree. More of a focus on playing quick, not letting it get late in the possession before you have to, go into a scramble mode of some sort.
Active hands by the Broncos. Buchanan comes away with the steal.
We have a different lineup here. A lot of shooters on the floor for the Broncos to counter the zone with Fresno State. If you give Carmichael an inch, he's going to let it fly.
Bowie looking for Buchanan instead, throws it over to Cardenas. 7 on the shot clock. Bowie going to launch one up from way downtown. Rattles out. It goes to Omar Stanley, and he lays it up and in.
Boy, Fresno State really wanted to control the boards here early, not exactly getting it done so far.
Boise State already with 4 offensive rebounds that have resulted in 6 second chance points, and they lead by 9. Another turnover here for Fresno State. Just didn't have enough room, trying to navigate the sideline, and he turns it over. Second turnover today for the Bulldogs.
Little 1-1-3 look. It's a good opportunity for high post entry and skip passes against that type of zone. There's the high post.
Ball poked away by Weaver. Who's it out of bounds off of? It's going to stay with Boise State. Not necessarily an exchange of possession, though. Only 9 remains on the shot clock.
Boy, really a good high post entry pass to Stanley that time. A good rule. Turn and look opposite. You'll have your shooters lined up.
Bowie checks out. Keene checks in.
I just shoot that,
Yeah,
Jaden.
entry pass to Buchanan. Rims it long, but was left open there for a second. Almost overthought that one.
Yeah, maybe just a score first mentality.
Score first mentality by Weaver. Just misses the 3. Here comes Keene. The outlet pass up to Peanut Carmichael. Another fast break bucket for Boise State. Their lead is now out to 11.
And a good finish by Carmichael. He made that look really easy.
The Broncos on a 9-0 run over the last 2.5 minutes. Meanwhile, Fresno State scoreless over the last 3 minutes. Buchanan with the block, and here come the Broncos again.
Good high post, opposite pass, wide open shooter, bingo.
Alvaro Cardenas has been on fire from 3 lately. He buries another one, his 6th straight game with a 3. Leon Rice fired up for his squad that has now pushed their lead out to 14, Brian.
Again, such purpose offensively for Boise State. And I'll tell you what, I know Fresno has really struggled this year. They're not that bad, Jay. This is a team full of really good basketball players and well coached. Boise State just has purpose offensively early.
You know, Alvaro can certainly shoot it, Brian. But, you know, over the first, 3 quarters of the season, his shooting percentage from 3 was hovering just over 30%. He's a much better shooter than that. Over these last 6 games, over 45%.
Yeah, Jay, I think there's a big difference as a shooter when you know you're going to shoot it or when you're not sure if you should shoot it. And I think with 8 new players this year on the roster for Boise State, a lot of different starting lineups. Sometimes offensively, guys aren't really sure if they should take that shot until it's too late. You're a shooter. You know you should shoot it. You're open, drill it.
He's certainly been doing that lately. Alvaro averaging almost 12 points. A Mountain West best, 6.8 assists per game. Back underway here. We tick down under 9 minutes in the first half of this contest between Boise State and Fresno State here at ExtraMile Arena. Jay Tuss alongside Brian King. Fresno State trying to end a scoring drought. Not going to do it on that position. R.J. Keene skies up to get the rebound. Cardenas going to push, dribbles into a bunch of bodies in the middle of the lane. He draws the contact from Collins, and Cardenas gets fouled.
Boy, lucky for Cardenas to get the call. Kind of nowhere to go. He went right into the heart. Fortunate to have the whistle blow for him.
Only the 3rd team foul against Fresno State. Neither team really in foul trouble. Boise State only 4 team fouls themselves. Trying to build upon a 12-0 run that spanned over 3.5 minutes.
Oh, boy. 3-second violation on the Broncos. When's the last time
I
you
was just
saw
going to say, I don't know if I've seen one this season,
Holy
Brian.
smokes. I didn't know if that rule still existed anymore. Again, Fresno's going to try to execute dribble drive, dribble drive.
Bonga that nearly slipped. Now he's going to decide to go baseline again. Leaves it for Sek. Gets the shot over Stanley, but can't get it to drop.
Boy, another rebound for R.J. Keene.
Yeah.
He's kind of taking the Dennis Rodman approach.
Absolutely.
Just go get everything.
5 rebounds for him so far. He's got 1 on the offensive end. Still hasn't attempted a shot. And I was looking this up during the last game, Brian. R.J. Keene is the first guy in the Leon Rice era, which spans 15 seasons, that has ever played over 25 minutes in a game and not attempted a single shot. And the funny thing about that is it does so little to summarize. his impact on last game. Tied a season high with 10 rebounds, tied a season high with 3 steals. We spoke with Tim Duryea on Friday, Brian, and he was saying that nobody impacted winning more so than RJ in that game. And Peanut Carmichael trying to impact winning today with the corner 3 off the inbounds pass. Boise State up 29-12. The run now out to 15-0.
Yeah, just an impressive offensive performance by the Broncos.
Fresno State trying to find some offense. Not going to happen there. Stanley goes up to contest the shot from Sek. Fouls him in the process. Sek goes down to the floor, kind of holding his elbow right now. We'll see if he's okay, but take it back to the last bucket. Alvaro Cardenas whipping it over to the corner. Peanut Carmichael burying it from the corner. Well, it's been an offensive outburst here recently for the Broncos, but, man, it's been a defensive onslaught as well for them, I guess you could say. Fresno State hasn't scored in almost 5 minutes, Brian, but this is kind of a theme for opponents at ExtraMile Arena. Boise State really is good at shutting off the water, if you will, for opponents when it comes to limiting them to what they do on offense.
Yeah, they really are. And, of course, led by Mike Burns, the general of defense over on Leon Rice's bench. And I tell you, I've been to a few of their practice. They're really focused on what they are going to do each and every game and how they're going to approach it differently. They hang their hat on it. They've done a really nice job this year.
Again, only 56 points allowed to the Wolfpack a couple of nights ago. And Tim Duryea was telling us, going into that matchup, whenever they have success against Nevada, it's when they tend to be the more physical team. And I think that they really proved that on Wednesday, and they're proving it again here tonight so far against Fresno State.
Yeah, Broncos doing a really good job cleaning up the boards, limiting one shot. Broncos have big bodies, right? When they play hard, they're pretty good.
Sek, a 65% free throw shooter, makes the first, misses the second. Still, Fresno State's first points in about 5 minutes.
Fresno again back to that zone. There's a high post pass, pretty easy.
Alvaro Cardenas, one of the best assist man in college basketball, sets up Tyson Degenhart for the little layup. He's got 6 points. Alvaro Cardenas already up to 5 assists.
And an interesting wrinkle offensively, they stuck Cardenas into the post that time.
A gifted passer. He has now had at least 5 assists, Brian, in 19 of Boise State's 23 games. A three-pointer goes down. The scoring drought, or the field goal drought, I should say, ends for Fresno State. Amunique, a little ammunition from distance.
Again, Fresno back to the zone. Cardenas in the high post.
Amunique hits the 3 on one end, then hits Andrew Meadow on the other end, picks up the foul. 15 foul for Fresno State.
15.
Got a second look at it right there. Just a little bump on that big body. There's that shooter.
Carmichael thinks about it, misses a little long, and now Fresno State's going to get the chance to push in transition. Collins off the side of the backboard, misses badly. And now Cardenas comes back, tries a no-look pass, but it goes right to the Bulldogs. Amunique now up and under past Meadow for the layup.
Oh, good finish by Amunique. Really good finish. And Cardenas a couple times getting a little too low in the paint without getting rid of that thing. You get 4 feet away, you better shoot it.
Meadow open look for 3. Collins with the board. A 13-point game. A chance for Fresno State to get it back to within 10. They've only shot it at 30% as a team so far, 2 of 7 from 3. Boise State, meanwhile, shooting it at 50% overall, 4 of 12 from 3. Price tries to back down Degenhart.
Boy, pretty good post move by Price, just didn't get it finished.
Over to Meadow. to Cardenas. He's going to rise fire. Nothing but the bottom for the senior. Transfer from San Jose State.
Boy, catch and shoot. It can be pretty simple like that.
Ammunique again. Makes the three again.
Boy, Fresno, good shot. A lot of dribbling. One pass leads to a wide open jumper.
Ammunique already in double figures. He's got 10 on 4 of 8 shooting off the bench. Only 7 minutes for him so far. Down low, Tyson's going to take it right at Ammunique. Goes up and over the top of him. Too easy for the senior.
Yeah, just a bit of a mismatch. Degenhardt knew it. And again, when he catches it that deep, it's pretty much game over.
Tyson Degenhardt near the top of the Mountain West leaderboard in points per game, field goal percentage, in conference play too, Brian. He's right up there with 3-point field goal percentage. It's funny, I was looking over the notes the last time we did a broadcast together, which was about a month and a half ago, and Tyson wasn't shooting it that well from 3, but everybody said, hey, it's going to happen, it's going to come, and when it does, look out. Well, we're kind of in that lookout mode right now, because now he's upwards of over 40% in conference games from behind the arc.
Yeah, he just becomes so much more difficult to guard and so much more difficult to pay attention to when he's got the confidence to knock down the 3, and this kid's been on fire in the month of January.
Yeah, it really feels like Boise State is finally settling into their roles too, and it feels like when they switched up the starting lineup this last time, it was almost like Leon Rice was saying, no, this is what we're going to ride or die with moving forward. And so I think that allows everybody to kind of find and settle into their roles. I mean, you look at it, R.J. Keene, we already talked about him, but he was like the ultimate glue guy in last game. Javen Buchanan, okay with coming off the bench. Tyson Degenhardt, okay with performing at, all Mountain West Player of the Year type levels right now.
Well, I think when you get this late in the season, I mean, you kind of got to go with your guys, right? And if they found it, they found it. That's okay. And you can settle in if you're the 6th man or the 7th man, and that's okay too.
Wow, 4 Broncos down low, only 1 Bulldog, but it's Sek that's still battling for it. He's going to actually pick up the foul instead of the ball. Was battling with it against Tyson Degenhardt. And I believe that is only the 6th team foul for Fresno State. Just fighting for it.
Yeah, just a good wrestling match. Degenhardt and Sek. Well, Fresno just is going to stick in that zone. I think they've played every possession. They've changed the style of zone a little bit, but they're going with it. Broncos will look to get high post touches.
Under 4 minutes to go in the first half. Under 5 on the shot clock. And Boise State throws it away out of bounds. Tyson Degenhardt in the direction of Andrew Meadow. Unable to come up with it, though, as Boise State turns it over for just the 4th time this afternoon. The good news for the Broncos, thanks to Alvaro Cardenas, they're up 15 with 3:48 remaining in the first half. Boise State leads Fresno State 36-21. Boy, Brian, the Broncos have really looked good on offense so far.
Well, they really have 26 field goal attempts, 14 made, 53% from the field. Fresno, same amount of attempts, only knocking 30% of them down. That really is the difference.
You mentioned the ball movement earlier too, Brian. How about 10 assists by the Broncos on 14 field goals made?
Well, it just really seems when the Broncos move it quickly and take kind of shots earlier in the shot clock instead of later, that it's just more in flow for them. And
that's been a storyline of this team. I mean, it's been really awkward almost these last few games. They've really had a number of shot clock violations, and they seem to kind of come in bunches too. It'll be, a couple early in a game or a couple early in a second half. And, in Mountain West play, when you're trying to contend for league titles, every single possession matters. And Boise State's figured it out this season. Andrew Meadow reins in another 3 from the corner. He's now into double figures, a team high 11 points.
Well, again, back to these players knowing and understanding their role at the right time. There's been a lot of different combinations.
Whistled on the floor. Team foul number 5 for Boise State.
Looked like they might have run Cardenas up on that one.
It will go against Alvaro, his first foul of the afternoon.
Look for Fresno State offensively. They've dug themselves a hole here, but maybe first shot is their best shot kind of a mentality.
Or Amunique. Ooh, that one well long. Barely grazed the iron after it went off the backboard.
When after he just splashed 2 threes before that, too.
Andrew Meadow going to give it another go from the corner. This one can't go down. Nice pass by Weaver, and they're going to call a foul against Tyson Degenhart. Clipped the wing of Alex Crawford, shooting the 3 from the corner.
Clip the wing. That's the old school trick. He just kind of nicked the head. Oh, he got the fingers.
Hand.
Yeah, he got the hands. Good call by the officials. Tyson tried to get away with one there. Didn't get away with it.
That senior that's only played, I don't know, 1,000 games it seems like in the Mountain West Conference, but probably more a little frustrated with himself than the officials at the end of the day on that one.
I think that's probably correct. Crawford gets the first to go. Again, 39-22.
I mean, this is a guy they really lean on when it comes to scoring, and that right there, just his 4th point of the game, 1 of 4 from the field, 2 of 2 at the free throw line now. Still going to get another attempt right here.
Yeah, we talked earlier that guys like Weaver and Crawford would have to have really big nights for Fresno State today.
Crawford, a junior, makes all 3 free throw attempts as the lead back to 15 for the Broncos. 2.5 minutes remaining before halftime here at ExtraMile Arena. Javen Buchanan with Crawford on his hip, guarding him. Goes up, gets the contact, and 1 for the junior.
Well, again, there's that big body we talked about. He just muscled his way down to the low block. We'll get a second look at it. Bounce, bounce, power. Good left finish by Buchanan.
Tim Duryea, the assistant coach for Leon Rice, is the offensive specialist, and he says, what a luxury to have a guy like Javen Buchanan on the roster. This is a guy that, pretty much would start, almost any place else, but Boise State's able to bring him off the bench, and he certainly provides them with a lot of firepower when it comes to scoring. And we asked him, is he okay with it, Brian? I mean, a nice finish there by Crawford, but, let's face it, kids want to start, right? He says, no, he's a level-headed, his personality, he's just a level-headed guy, and he just does whatever it takes for the team to win. Also has a clutch gene, by the way. We've seen him make some big shots.
Oh, okay. I was like, clutch gene. Yeah, I got it. Yeah. He certainly does.
Cardenas finishes, driving to the rim, lays it up and in.
Weaver, unfortunate, stepped on the sideline. Looked like he had a clean path to the basket.
Boise State with 44 first-half points. They have 4 different players that have at least 8 points. Tyson Degenhart with 8, along with Alvaro Cardenas and Javen Buchanan. Andrew Meadow leads the way with 11. A balanced scoring effort.
There's a zone again by Fresno. Buchanan steps out from the high post. Cardenas steps in.
There goes Cardenas in the lane, over to Meadow. Meadow's going to drive and leave it for Bowie. He pump fakes, back to Meadow for the 3. In and out, Buchanan with the offensive rebound. Over to Meadow. He's going to go baseline, swatted away from behind by Crawford.
Boy, good play by Crawford. Good finish. Oh, almost a finish by Weaver.
Weaver leaves it a little short, and here come the Broncos. About a 13 different differential, or second differential between the shot clock and game clock. A chance at a 2-for-1 here. We'll see what Fresno State does. Now there's only about a 1 or so second differential between the game clock and shot clock, and it looks like the Bulldogs are going to pull it out and hold for the final possession.
can tell you, look for dribble drive and kick to a shooter out of this last possession. Maybe a high ball screen as this clock gets down to about 8.
Alvaro Cardenas ready to dig in here for this last defensive possession of the first half. Here goes Collins over. Amunique misses. Tyson Degenhardt, a little full court heave. I don't know if it would have counted if it went, but what an impressive showing here by Boise State. They lead by 18 going into the locker room. It is baby race time here at ExtraMile Arena. I'm not going to lie, this might be the most entertaining thing of the afternoon. Boise State up big over the Bulldogs. An 18-point advantage going into the locker room. And, hey, Brian, I know that everybody expects Tyson Degenhardt. He's one of the most consistent players in all of college basketball. Well, Mr. Consistent has shown up again, but tonight, so far, Andrew Meadows kind of been the Robin to Batman. He has a game-high 11 points.
Yeah, I mean, Meadows, 11 field goal attempts. 9 field goal attempts. A lot for him, yes. Honestly, Jay. 11 points. Degenhardt always plays within himself, right? He just takes what comes to him and finishes. Again, Meadow really capable from the three-point line. And again, Degenhardt just keeps it really simple for Boise State.
Degenhardt trending towards a double-double, 8 points, 6 rebounds. Boise State a perfect 3-0 when Degenhardt gets a double-double this season, and that includes one against Clemson, who is kind of the big victory that Boise State has, I would have to say, this year. One of their quad one victories so far this season. Andrew Meadows a little quieter offensively against the Wolfpack on Wednesday, been much more aggressive this evening. As far as Fresno State goes, they've been pretty cold from the field with the exception of Amunique off the bench.
Boy, Amunique got hot early, caught a couple of good looks from behind the line, knocked him down. Here you see a good finish at the rim. Fresno State's going to need a little bit of help for some other guys in the second half.
Amunique has 10 points on 4 of 10 shooting. That means every other Bulldog combined has 16 points on 5 of 20 shooting. Amunique's going to need some help if Fresno State's going to climb back into this thing. We're back at ExtraMile Arena here at halftime after this. Boise State explodes for 44 first half points here at ExtraMile Arena. And for me, Brian, I think shot selection, too, has been a huge emphasis for Boise State. You look at their 6 of 17 from 3. They're 10 of 13 on layups. So, I mean, that's what you want, right? You want threes or layups. Anything in the mid-range game, they're only 1 of 3. Everything else, layups or threes.
Yeah, and that's kind of how the game is played these days, right? I mean, you either go to the rim or you kick it out for a 3. The Broncos have been very efficient. The threes that they've taken, the ones they've missed, really good looks.
Yep.
In and out, great shots. 40% of those should go in.
Boise State a perfect 4 for 4 at the free throw line. They've shot it at 35% from 3, over 51% overall. And as you can see, man, they're winning just about everything right now, and especially the battle of the boards. Plus 11, there might not be a stat on this screen, Brian, that's going to fire up Leon Rice more than that.
Yeah, that's right, and Mike Burns, of course. But they have really cleaned up the boards. And a pretty efficient game from a turnover standpoint. Only 4 apiece for each team. Fresno State just has not shot it well, 31% from the field.
I think Boise State's been the more physical team. We talk about Boise State being 10 of 13 on layups down low, strong with the basketball. Fresno State only 4 of 10 on layup attempts. Boise State 22 points in the paint. Fresno State only 10 points in the paint. So Boise State's been really dominant here in just about every single way you try to spin the stat sheet here, Brian.
Yeah, they really have. And again, Fresno has struggled this year, right? Coming off really a big emotional loss at Wyoming, one they thought that they should have got. Now you've got to come to ExtraMile on a Saturday afternoon and play the Broncos, who don't lose very often. And when they win, it's usually by 22 or more. So not an easy task for Fresno State.
Boise State, a chance to improve to 10-1 at home this season and maybe even climb back into the conference title race. We have more here at halftime from ExtraMile Arena right after this. back at ExtraMile Arena in partnership with Boise State Athletics and the Horseshoe Collective. ExtraMile Arena is excited to introduce 32-ounce souvenir soda cups available at arena concession stands. These special mementos will be available at all arena events moving forward. As a benefit to student athletes, all proceeds from these sales will be donated to the Horseshoe Collective and specifically the name, image, and likeness funds for the teams that play inside this arena, the men's, the women's basketball team, and also gymnastics. This is a thing that you have to pour into if you're a fan of Boise State Athletics in this day and age, Brian. I know you know better than anybody.
Well, I mean, if you're a fan of any university, wherever you're at, it's just the way it is. You have to be able to participate, to contribute, to help fundraise. The world has changed. I don't like it. I don't think a lot of people like it. Hopefully it'll change back to someday, but right now, if you want to put a competitive product on the floor or on the field, you got to raise some money.
Yeah, you got to raise some money, and then hope like heck you get humble guys like Tyson Degenhart to play for you that just value the place and the situation that they're in. He's a guy that, I mean, amongst many of these dudes, guys named Ashton Genty over in the football program, they could make a lot of money going elsewhere if they want, but they clearly value where their feet are at this point in time in their college careers.
Yeah, and we've been fortunate to have him here, but you know, Jay, those are diamonds in the rough,
yes.
Right? I mean, those just don't exist everywhere.
We take a look at the upcoming schedule for Boise State, and Brian, I'm telling you, the month of February is going to be one tough road to hoe for the Boise State men's basketball team if they climb back in the Mountain West Championship race in the regular season. After tonight, they go to UNLV. The Rebels are one of the more wild teams in the Mountain West this year. They've won at San Diego State and lost at home to Wyoming.
Yeah, well, they haven't figured it out yet, right? Maybe they will, but at home they're probably going to be a little tougher to beat than on the road. But this is the Mountain West. There just are no easy ones, right? There's even the teams year in and year out that seem to be at the bottom of the ladder tend to sneak up and bite somebody down the stretch.
Yeah, a trip to San Diego State is one Boise State still has to make. They still get to host both Utah State and New Mexico, so plenty of really impactful games still on the schedule. As for the Bulldogs, you can kind of see their upcoming slate of games. They still have to play Utah State, go to San Diego State, and then they get a return trip from the Broncos at the beginning of March. Tip-off live from ExtraMile Arena between Fresno State and Boise State coming up next. The Bulldogs and Broncos have returned to the court here at ExtraMile Arena, and one thing Boise State has made a habit of, Brian, is finishing what they start. 13-1 this season when leading at halftime.
Yeah, Jay, ExtraMile, we've talked about this so many times, but it's just a really difficult place to play. I'm not sure exactly why it is, but it is. When the Broncos get the lead, they win. When they're up at halftime, they win, and typically about 90% of the time, they win at ExtraMile Arena.
Boise State has their original starting five back on the floor, as does Fresno State. Second half underway. Boise State leading by 18.
Fresno 1-1-3 zone. You don't see that often. In fact, Boise State played that same 1-1-3 many years ago with Bobby Dye. That was kind of the old school zone defense, 1-1-3. You beat it by getting it to the high post.
Here goes Ubo down low. Tries to finish with the left. Can't get it done.
Well, good rebound by Sek. Tipped it to himself, went and got it. Broncos started man. And I'll say it again. I think Fresno's best shot is the first shot in the second half. Get one early, get it up.
Collins goes baseline, dribbles through a number of Boise State players. Price misses short from the corner.
Box out by Degenhart. Here come the Broncos.
Goes Degenhart, open look. Ubo kind of lost it going up, but still able to lay it in.
Ubo kind of passed that in, I think.
You're kind of sitting at home watching this game. You see Boise State up 20, and you might be asking, hey, what's their sense of urgency in the second half? Boise State Director of Athletics, Jeremiah Dickey, has a saying, everything counts, everything matters, and it certainly applies right now as we approach one of the more important months of the season, the month of February. There are a number of metrics out there that people pay attention to now, Brian, whether it be Ken Palm, Bart Torvik, obviously the net rankings, and whether people admit it or not, margin of victory absolutely matters these days, right? And Boise State, kind of the magic number for them in this game was right around 19 points. So if they want to continue to move up in those metrics, it's not just about winning today, but it's about winning comfortably and winning above that number. So with March Madness, it's a long shot at this point if we're being honest, but it's still certainly a hope. If they want that to be a reality, those things actually do matter. I don't love that they do, but they do matter.
Yeah, Jay, I absolutely agree with you. And it's, second half of the season, right? Month of February, pretty critical for Boise State. Again, margin of victory matters, but they will play this second half with the attempt just to get better at everything they do, because every game counts now.
I'm just saying, if this thing stays within 22, you're going to see Boise State playing a number of their starters still inside of 4, maybe even 3 minutes.
I think that's accurate.
Alvaro probes into the lane.
Cardenas, he's crafty. He's crafty when he gets in there, the Spaniard.
Boise State back up 20. Crawford loses the dribble, gets it back. Weaver now is going to try to attack. Over to Crawford, who decides to go baseline. Back to Weaver. He's going to try a 3. Gets it to fall.
Boy, Crawford and Weaver really need to get something going for Fresno. Coach Wahlberg probably wouldn't have expected this from those two.
Cardenas tries a 3, misses short, the long rebound, pulled down by Collins, and here comes Weaver again. Alvaro picks up the charge.
Boy, pretty good play by Weaver. We'll get a second look. Definitely could go either way, but I'm the official. I'm probably going to bury that whistle on that one.
Maybe the home court call, something along those lines.
Yep. Again, 1-1-3 by the Bulldogs.
King going to try a shot. Kind of grazes the rim out of bounds over to Boise State. That's his first shot attempt in about a game and a half. Not about a game and a half, in over a game and a half.
Well, I mean, Jay, to his defense, he's got the Batman mask on. I mean, how in the heck could you launch a 3 with that thing on? Can't be easy.
Yeah, so Keene broke his nose early this year as he goes diving into the stands. Almost joins us here on press row, trying to save that ball from going out of bounds.
I think RJ
likes those giving him a nice little ovation here.
He likes those plays better, right?
I think he does too.
Just jump up and get a rebound, dive into the stands, bring his lunch pail to work every day.
He broke his nose in 2 different spots. He's going to need surgery after the season. He has to wear the mask right now in order to play. Sek gets the offensive rebound, swatted away from behind. I think that was Keene that made that play.
I just want RJ to get up another 3 is what I want. Redeem himself.
But so Tyson Dagenhart broke his nose early last season, and he had to wear the mask for a while. I know that you try to convince yourself that it's not going to impact your shooting, but it did impact his shooting because when he took it off, his efficiency numbers soared. I think it kind of helps that RJ isn't a big shooter when it comes to that because he doesn't have to really worry about it impacting his vision.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Buchanan goes down, picks up his first foul of the game.
Yeah, not a smart play by Buchanan. Nothing really to gain on that. 48-31, Boise State holds the lead. 16 minutes to go on a cold, snowy afternoon in Boise, Idaho. The foothills are full. Ski resorts are happy. None of us in the valley are. I was going to say, Jay, I think a little lighter crowd here today, but I was thinking, what happens this time of year in Boise? Everybody goes to Scottsdale, Tucson, Maui, like the Curleys. I know they're watching. People go south.
Ooh, that ball was intended for Crawford. It actually went off the backboard and still somehow found him. Not necessarily how you draw it up, but the result is all the same. Fresno State now the lead down to 15 points. Not going to lie, Brian, me and my family have a trip to go down to spring training at the end of this month. So it's good to escape, the city of trees this time of year. recharge a little bit.
Yeah, not that it's horrible, right?
No.
It's 35 degrees. It's not Great Falls, Montana,
No,
right? But
exactly.
again, you like a little sunshine.
Tyson Degenhart sticks with it, puts it back up and in. He's now into double figures. 10 points for him, 10 for Alvaro Cardenas, and 11 for Andrew Meadow. Nice pass by Weaver. Price can't quite handle it. Here come the Broncos following the turnover. Javen Buchanan took off from outside the key. Got caught in midair, picks up the offensive foul. Give you another look at this one. It looked cool, could have been cool. Going the other way when we come back. Yes, Boise State head coach Leon Rice, he'll tell you that Alvaro Cardenas is the best point guard that he's ever had here at Boise State. The ultimate distributor of the basketball, Brian. 142 assists so far this season.
Jay, he's a true point guard, right? He really understands the game. The guy that comes to mind when I watch Cardenas play is John Stockton. And I'd like to say he's a pass-first point guard. He's really not. He can really score. He just does it both. But if you're open, he's going to get you the basketball.
Oh, absolutely. And Brian, he's going to obliterate the single-season assist record here at Boise State. He's already got 142, right? Well, at least 11 games left in the season. 165 is the school record by Lashard Anderson. I mean, he's going to get over 200 probably.
Yeah.
He's going to absolutely crush the all-time assist record for a single season at Boise State.
Not just tell you as a shooter, boy, you'd love having guys like him on your team.
Good ball movement by Fresno State. An easy bucket right at the rim for Crawford.
Broncos need to tighten it up a little here, a little offensively, play with that same speed and passion they did in the first half.
Tyson trapped in the corner looking for help. Buchanan able to get it. Now Keene thinks about driving in and said bounce pass to Buchanan. He gets fouled going up for it. He's going to go to the free throw line.
Buchanan going to go to the line, 77% free throw shooter. If you're a young basketball player at home, watch this form. It's just pretty, just beautiful.
6'7", 230-pound junior makes the first free throw. He's out of Lafayette, Indiana. And his story is so cool because he's testing his game at a higher level, was a dominant force at the NAI classification for the last few years of his basketball career. But now with the ability, the fluid transfer rules, he comes up to play at the D1 level. Makes both free throws.
Yeah, if there's any disbelief in his mind that he could play at this level, that's over. Gone.
You know, I asked him after last game that he just looks like he's getting more comfortable. And what's the biggest difference? And you know, I think at times he's so long and athletic, he could get away with things a little bit at the NAI level. Here it is all about the details, and they matter every single possession. Size mismatch down low. Crawford catches it, goes right up over Alvaro Cardenas, back to a 15-point deficit for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, two back-to-back buckets by Crawford again. He's kind of taking it on himself. We got to put some points on the board. See Peanut Carmichael in for the Broncos. Omar Stanley back in. Shot clock at 10.
Stanley battling down low for position. Instead, he's going to come and set a pick for Alvaro. They go under it. He passes it off to Peanut Carmichael. He just launches one up. Shot clock violation for Boise State, the first one of the evening. And might not be something you'd normally point out. They've had a number of them. It seems like their last few games, not a lot there at the end of the shot clock for Boise State.
Yeah, and that was really a good example of the Nevada game where Boise had a number of possessions that ended just like that.
Amity.
A good no call by the officials. Here comes Fresno State.
Boise State's lead down to 13, and I'm not going to lie, it just feels a little flat. Leon Rice not happy that there wasn't an offensive foul on that last play, but the Bulldogs back to within 13. We'll see if they can make a run after this. Boise State takes a lot of pride and what they do on the glass, and averaging over 34 rebounds per game as third in the Mountain West. They're +8, though, per contest. That's best in the Mountain West. And you look at tonight, that effort has carried over. 27 rebounds for Boise State, 18 for Fresno State. Boise State also has 6 offensive rebounds, 8 second chance points. It's kind of what they do.
Yeah, Jay, I think it's definitely a focus for the Broncos, but I think it's a focus for every program, right? Every coach knows that they have to rebound, but it's kind of different knowing that you have to do it and actually doing it, and instilling that in your kids that rebounding is critical. You don't rebound, you don't play.
Right. So we'll see if Boise State can kind of reclaim the sense of urgency they were playing with on offense early in this contest when they found a lot of success. How about that? Omar Stanley putting his head down, going and getting a bucket out of the timeout.
Boy, I sure like when Stanley catches at the high post, turn and face. He can hit that little 16-footer, or on that time you just take it to the rim.
Honestly, his best game in a while here. He's only played 6 minutes. He's picked up 2 personal fouls, but a perfect 3 of 3 from the floor, 6 points, 3 rebounds.
Got good effort by Stanley. Hey, he's got 3 more to give. Let him give them all.
Javen Buchanan picks up his 3rd foul. He's going to go to the bench, and Leon Rice can have a little talk with him. I know that's one of the things about his game that they would really love for him to clean up. Sometimes he does have a tendency to get into foul troubles.
Well, again, Jay, I think, that 6'7" body at that NAI level, he could get away with so many things, and you just can't get away with that anymore.
Collins bounce pass to Weaver. Weaver over to Price. Way long, but right there to catch the air ball is Ammunique.
Carmichael missed the block out. I'm sure he'll hear about that on Monday at practice, unfortunately.
Might already be hearing about it.
Little dribble handoff exchange for the Broncos. They're into it. Trouble when Degenhardt gets it down there.
Tyson Degenhardt spins back into the lane, into a trio of Bulldog defenders. He gets fouled. And with that, we will take a little break here. Fresno State trying to climb back into this one. Boise State still holds a 13-point advantage. Fresno State trailed by 18 at the half, but they've actually outscored the Broncos 15-10 coming out of the locker room in the second half so far. And I know that Boise State still has a 13-point lead and might seem comfortable for Bronco Nation, but I can tell you the coaches on the benches want to see Boise State finish this thing strong. They've played in probably too many close games this year, and in too many of those close ones, they've also surrendered late leads. Boston College hit a game-winning 3 with 2 seconds to go. Utah State, a 4-point play with under 5 seconds to go. Colorado State, a game-winning 3 with about 4 seconds to go. And talking with Tim Duryea, he said, hey, with some really competitive games coming up, they got to get on the other side of those close games. But I even think that begins today with finishing strong and not even worrying about the scoreboard, playing with a sense of urgency, playing your best basketball here over the final 12 or so minutes of this game.
Yeah, Jay, I think that's right. You want to be excellent from the opening tip-off, right, through the entire 40 minutes. And Boise State has had really a tendency to be, kind of the tale of 2 halves, where they played horrible the first half and great the second half, and vice versa. A little bit of a slow start here for the Broncos in the second half.
Tyson Degenhardt's going to go to the free throw line. He has worn out a pass to the charity stripe this season. 109 free throws made. That's the most in the Mountain West. He's on pace for a top 5 single-season effort in program history. Really a nice bounce-back effort for Tyson. He scored in double figures, Brian, in 21 of 22 games this season for Boise State. The only time he was held under 10 points was against San Diego State here at ExtraMile Arena back on January 4th. Only had 9 points on 1 of 7 shooting. Since then, 19.2 points per game. He's shooting over 54% from the floor and almost 80% from the free throw line.
Yeah, he's just, Degenhardt, Mr. Consistent, right? He puts his hard hat on, comes to work every day, tries to keep the game simple, does what he's supposed to do.
Bulldogs get whistled for the walk. They turn it over for the 7th time.
Let's see if the Broncos can get kind of a quick possession, play with that same speed and purpose they did the first half. Fresno's done a nice job of slowing them down in the second half.
Boise State hasn't made a 3 this half. Made 6 in the first half. 0 of 4 since coming out of the locker room. Until then, Julian Bowie, a wide open look. The true freshman out of Pocatello buries it from distance.
Boy, again, that zone, pretty easy to beat. If it touches the high post, you go straight to the wing or to the corner, and one of those shooters will be open.
Hand off to Weaver, blocked by Tyson Degenhardt. Out of bounds, Bulldog ball.
Boy, good take by Weaver, but even a better defensive play by Degenhardt.
We're going to have to go over to the scorer's table here. They reset the shot clock. They shouldn't have done it. It says 30. They're going to have to go over and talk about how many seconds should be on it. Ball's going to stay with the Bulldogs, obviously. See the officials over at the scorer's table. New this year, which I love that the NCAA is doing, they provide that mic, right? The crew here at Boise State, so you can kind of tune in at times and hear what's going on. So only 4 on the shot clock for Fresno State.
Yeah, I think the officials love that mic too, Jay. You know, you watch college basketball weekend, the officials, I mean, they just get all geared up to go to that mic. They just love it.
That helps with the clarity of everything, and I just think it's an awesome addition.
4 on the clock for Fresno State. Crawford's going to try to get it done.
Loses it. A shot clock violation for the Bulldogs. Coach Wahlberg not very happy for whatever reason. Boise State basketball, though. 10.5 to go. Following a 2-game losing streak, the Broncos have a chance to win back-to-back games. Beat Nevada on Wednesday, trying to take care of the Bulldogs, finish them off tonight. Keene drives in, swatted away by Crawford. Fresno State's going to try to push in transition.
Boy, good dish.
Damn unique. Sets up Price. Price gets fouled on the shot attempt.
You know, that dribble drive offense, I mean, obviously a lot of teams have used it over many, many years, but one of the toughest things to do against it is catch the short pass. There's so many 2 to 3 foot passes that come at you so quick. Those are really hard to handle for a big fella.
A quiet night for the future of Fresno State basketball. That one bounces off the front end and goes down. Only 4 points for Elijah Price. 1 of 6 shooting from the floor, 2 rebounds. This guy really is kind of that stat sheet stuffer, though, Brian. One of 3 players in the Mountain West averaging over a steal, at least a block, and at least 1 assist per game. He also is one of the best offensive rebounders in the league. 61 offensive rebounds entering this ball game, second most in the Mountain West.
Yeah, Price is the real deal. Good-looking freshman. He's going to put up a lot of stats for Fresno State over the years. A bit of a quiet night tonight for him.
Again, averages about 10 and 8 points per game. 10 points, 8 rebounds per game. Let me take another shot at that. Pump fake by Stanley. Gets a little friendly roll. Omar Stanley now with 8 points on a perfect 4 of 4 from the field.
Boy, again, that ball gets to the high post against the zone, it's over. And that's, you know, really what the 1-1-3 is supposed to do, is keep the ball out of the high post.
We're going to go at Bowie. A little floater over him, rebounded by Cardenas.
Good time to push here.
Down low to Omar, bounce pass to Bowie, over, open look for Meadow.
Boy, really good cut into the paint by Bowie, directly to open shooters.
Boise State has made 4 of their last 5 field goals. Their lead is back up to 20, and fist pumps from both Alvaro Cardenas and head coach Leon Rice. as Vance Wahlberg calls a timeout. Boise State now back over 51% shooting. It dipped down to about 47% there for a little while, but now they've made 4 of their last 5 field goal attempts, and this is, again, the purpose that you've been harping on here, Brian. When they can do this they play pretty good. So, under 9 minutes to go here at ExtraMile Arena. Boise State up by 20.
Limitless, because we've seen what Bulldogs can do. Unleash your talent for your family, for your purpose, for yourself. This is where your Bulldog story begins.
All right, we're a little tardy getting you back to action here, but a shot clock violation by Fresno State gives the ball back to Boise State with 8.5 minutes to go in this contest. Again, the Broncos looking for back-to-back wins, and I would say a better last 3 or 4 minutes, especially in the offensive end for Boise State, Brian.
Yeah, again, purpose, speed, ability to attack early. Sometimes when they just dribble a little too much on the perimeter, it seems to slow everybody down.
Cardenas, a look over to Bowie, whistle away from the basketball. I think that's going to go against Sek, who was guarding Stanley. It will go against Sek. That is his 4th personal foul. He's the only guy in the game with 4 personal fouls.
Good play by the Broncos. Oh,
Omar Stanley misses, gets an offensive rebound, throws it to Meadow, can't quite corral it.
Again, one of those 4-foot passes are coming in hot.
Yeah.
They're hard to catch.
Omar's first miss.
Yeah, and Stanley had a chance to go 5 for 5, missed a little chippy. He probably knew it.
Would have put him in double figures. Boise State perfect 8-0 this season when Stanley gets into double figures. Nice little spin around, turn around there by Collins. Alvaro quickly back up over into the front court. Tyson hesitated, thought about a 3. Instead, back to Cardenas, who puts Unique on his feet and then buries the 3. Alvaro Cardenas hits from behind the arc. He's got 13 points, his 3rd 3 of the game. Look at the look on Alvaro's face. Man, plenty of smiles and some giggles from his teammates. What a play right there.
Yeah, we might get a second look at that. Cardenas just makes a great play. Gets a little the fiery Spaniard. Knocks down a big 3.
Tim Duryea called Alvaro the most competitive kid that he's ever coached. And Tim Duryea's been around for a minute here coaching at a pretty high level. I think the thing that's cool about Alvaro is you've seen his leadership really start to soar and also kind of evolve. He is a fiery player, right, Brian? But there are times where you can see, like, I'm not going to say his emotion gets the best of him, but if he can kind of work it back to ground zero, like a Tyson Degenhart, I think it allows him to play a little more consistent. So the other day, the team's all gathered up there together, right? And they kind of have a moment, almost like an open floor where guys can just say whatever they want. Alvaro took a moment to say, like, that is how my leadership has grown. Watching a guy like Tyson Degenhart, who 365 days a year for the last 4 years that he's been a Bronco, has been like the exact same dude.
Yeah, Degenhart leads by example. Cardenas does it a little bit different way. The 2 of them together make a really good package.
Agreed.
I think Cardenas obviously a little more fiery, but you know, you got to have that guy on the team. You've got to have that
Absolutely.
fire, that hotness.
I
times.
go back even to the preseason and talking with some of his teammates, and it was such a funny way to phrase this, but I kind of loved it at the end of the day, is that Alvaro wasn't necessarily worried about making friends when he got here. And what they meant by that was he wasn't worried about giving you advice if you needed to get advice, right? And so I think that that's going to bring out the best in the Broncos eventually down the home stretch of the season. Another thing, too, the guy has a relentless work ethic. After a nice victory the other night, Lob pass down low, Fresno State scores. But after a nice victory over Nevada the other night, he missed a couple of free throws. So the whole team is in the locker room. They're enjoying the win. Alvaro, not him. He gets back into the Ox gym and shoots free throws for 20 minutes because he just was not satisfied with how he shot free throws that night.
Well, that's probably because his dad was a basketball coach, and his dad probably made him do that.
It's really funny. It actually even extended later in the week because they were supposed to have a day off. Alvaro called up Tim Duryea. Let's get back in the gym and work on a couple of things.
Boy, that's the effort that you have to have out of your players. You can't coach them 24/7.
Awkward step by Price, misses the layup. Here comes Cardenas aggressively down the center of the court. Back to Degenhardt. Over to Cardenas. Back to Degenhardt.
Keep it moving. Keep it moving.
Omar thinking about ball poked away. Price creates the turnover. Tremble gets it. Bounce pass Collins, too hot to handle. Boise State basketball, a little over 6 minutes to go. Javen Buchanan into the game. Omar Stanley going to take a breather and a nice little ovation from Bronco Nation.
With Stanley, really consistent effort today. Good minutes for him. Executed almost perfectly.
Bowie to Buchanan. Down inside of 5 on the shot clock. Bowie now is just going to rise. Fire! Nothing but the bottom. Bowie, his second 3 of the game.
The Broncos have some really nice freshmen on their roster, and Bowie's definitely one of them.
Just an incredibly gifted shooter. A couple of weeks ago, had 16 points against Wyoming. He made 5 threes in that game. The first freshman, Brian, to make 5 threes in a game for Boise State. So some guy named Justinian Jessup.
Pretty good company right there.
He only went on to make 325 threes, the most in school history.
Pretty good company. Bowie can really shoot it. Carmile can really shoot it. Lockett can really shoot it. Finish that, Buchanan.
And now it's Meadow that's going to attack and draw the foul.
Cardenas makes a great pass into Buchanan. Buchanan's just got to go finish that.
I think he had some hair on it. Meadow to the free throw line now. The guy we're really kind of just seeing grow and evolve as a player before our very eyes. It was interesting, like, against Nevada, Andrew had an assist, and that's not so much interesting, but it's the fact that it was his first assist since the Washington State game prior to Christmas. And this guy plays a lot, Brian.
Well, you know, Meadows is a receiver, not a giver.
True.
Right?
Yeah, right,
to complete
exactly.
a pass, you need 2 components,
Yeah.
a passer and a receiver.
Totally.
Meadows happens to be the receiver.
I will say this about him, though, and I know you're being a little tongue-in-cheek there. It's not because he's a selfish guy. It's more just he's inexperienced. That's a part of his game where Boise State really wants to see grow. Great catch-and-shoot guy. He's learned to put it on the floor and drive. And now the next step in his game is when he drives, being able to still find guys, right?
Right, that's
Be
next.
a playmaker for his teammates.
That's exactly right. He's gotten really good at dribble drive to the middle and finishing. Next will be dribble drive, kick to the corner for jumpers.
So Elijah Price back to the free throw line. He's 2 of 2 at the charity stripe this afternoon. The 1-and-1 is it's a 7th team foul against Boise State. Makes the first, going to get a chance at a second.
Good looking stroke by Price. Again, really a bright future for this kid.
There was so much roster turnover for the Bulldogs this year, and I know that a 5-16 record seems disappointing, and it likely is. Everybody has a great hope that they can exceed expectations, but this was a squad that was picked to finish second to last in the Mountain West preseason poll, and right now, that's currently where they are in the standings.
New coach, new roster. Not easy to win right out of the gate.
Nice take. Meadow, the step through and lay in.
Meadow up to 16 for the Broncos.
Long rebound. Amunique able to get it. Oh, Alvaro Cardenas with a hustle play. Comes over, intercepts the pass, then throws it off of Collins' legs out of bounds to create the turnover. What an effort by Alvaro Cardenas. Man, up 24 with 4.5 to go. The senior leader's not done yet. Nice shot, nice spot to get into the lane. Buchanan just can't finish it off. Amunique, been hot all afternoon. Been a little cooler here in the second half. Behind the back, a fancy pass. Cardenas to Bowie for the three, and that right there is the absolute dagger. And what is going to be Boise State's 15th victory. Alvaro Cardenas smiling. Boise State giving something for their fans to get on their feet and cheer about. Another look at this one. My goodness, Brian.
Got good pass to Cardenas. Whoop, little flip. Bowie smart enough to catch and stick it. Crowd goes crazy at Extra Mile.
Boom. Well, the Broncos are headed for their 6th straight win over the Bulldogs. They currently lead by 27 with under 4 minutes to go, and Boise State dominated at home. Nothing new here, though. Home is extra special for the Broncos. 9-1 this season, including 4-1 in conference play. And in a lot of these games, too, Brian, it's not just the fact that they're winning, but it's the fact they're winning big.
Yeah, Jay, that's right. 23-point spread when the Broncos win at home. Extra Mile has always been kind to the Broncos. For 30 years, it has definitely been a home court advantage. And under Leon Rice, especially a home court advantage.
There are a lot of people that have poured into making this a special place to play, and it has come so far, really even over the last, I would say, 5 years, Brian.
Well, Fresno did a good job coming out of halftime, trying to close the gap a little bit, trying to slow it down a little bit. But Broncos have definitely responded. Good take.
Fouled from behind by Meadow.
See, Amunique, really good athletic play. Gets up strong, draws the foul. A couple free throws coming.
2 free throw attempts here for Amunique, the freshman out of Los Angeles, California. And here comes Chris Lockett checking into the game for Boise State. Alvaro Cardenas gets a standing ovation from Bronco Nation. He's likely done for the rest of this one. Lockett was in a position where he started 6 consecutive games for Boise State, went into the starting lineup after having 16 points against San Diego State. And then, well, after the bye, a little bit of a lineup shakeup, and Lockett didn't even play against Nevada.
Yeah, really a nice player, bright future ahead of him. He can play. And Broncos just really trying to find the chemistry that works together.
Dylan Anderson also getting set to check in for Boise State. He played in the first 20 games of the season, did not play against Nevada.
Your skip pass.
Over to Bowie. Bowie, an open look. In and out. Sec with the board. Collins on the bounce. Guarded by Bowie. Goes baseline. Little floater. A little strong. Bowie with the rebound. See if they get aggressive. And they will. Andrew Meadow. Right to the rack for a layup.
He's developed so much confidence on getting to the basket. That will just make him such a more complete player.
Quick timeout. Dylan Anderson does check in. Javen Buchanan to the bench.
Broncos got 80 on the board.
.25 lead. Boise State now at 80 points. You mentioned, Brian. Omar Stanley contests Jalen Weaver on the drive. Gets fouled. I think when you look at, again, kind of the road ahead for Boise State, it simply doesn't get any easier for them in the month of February. They go down, they play at UNLV on Tuesday. They come back and they play San Jose State. And, I know San Jose State's not great, but San Jose State's also played the toughest league record so far in the first half of the season, meaning whether it's just the draw of the teams they've played, where they've had to go. They pushed San Diego State to the limits the other night at Viejas.
Yeah, and San Jose State is, remember, they're really well coached.
They are.
Right? He does a nice job there. And so in this conference, there are no days off.
No. And then after that, Brian, it's at San Diego State, at home versus New Mexico, and at Nevada. And then, after that, you host Utah State. By the way, the Aggies and Lobos battling for the top spot in the conference a little bit later on this evening in Logan. Tremble throws it way high and out of bounds.
But what an amazing story in Logan, Utah. New coach, new team, 2 years in a row.
They just continue to do it.
And they just win.
Yep.
They just win in Logan, Utah.
Leon Rice kind of emptying the bench, giving his starters the rest of the night off. 90 seconds to go. Ball poked away on the entry pass by Sek. Lockett gets back, deflects it. Another deflection, Peanut Carmichael. Dylan Anderson, pass was a little hot.
Oh, boy, not the right guy to throw it to by Carmichael. I mean, that's the situation. He's a freshman. He'll learn. He's got to keep the dribble. That could have been a little dunk at the rim for Anderson right there. That's just growing pains. Those lessons come quickly. You got to make a mistake to learn.
Under a minute to go. Boise State likely just going to take the air out of this thing until Dylan Anderson catches it, tries the three, air ball. Peanut catches it, missed badly, and then Stanley. I thought that might be the case in point where you just kind of dribble out the final possessions here, but maybe not.
Well, you get your minutes in the game, you get a jumper. I mean, it's kind of hard not to take it.
I guess,
it's hard
right?
not to take it.
Yeah. Omar Stanley, a chance to jump into double figures here. Would do wonders for his confidence. Makes the first. 16 minutes, 5 rebounds, 9 points.
Yeah, Stanley, an 80% free throw shooter.
Yeah. Makes the second. 10 points for Stanley. Boise State, 8-0 this season when he scores in double figures. Mentioned that earlier. Even going back to last season, 25-5 when they get at least 10 from Omar. A little contact down low. They allow it to go.
Good finish by the Bulldogs as we wind it down in Boise, Idaho.
Omar goes back up with it. 0 for 2 on that possession.
Good
Weaver
Euro.
lays it up.
Good Euro by Weaver.
And that should do it here at ExtraMile Arena. Fans standing on their feet, clapping for their hometown team. Boise State finishes off an 82-60 victory over Fresno State here. The Broncos win back-to-back games. They improved to 15-7 overall, including 7-4 in Mountain West Conference play. And Leon Rice, tough to beat at ExtraMile Arena. The Broncos now 10-1 at home this season. Brian, 82 points for the Broncos. When you consider that Fresno State plays a little more up-tempo, they average about 72 possessions a game. We figured there might be a few more in this contest. The pace might be a little greater, but at the same time, Boise State efficient with those opportunities. Well over 1.2 points per possession. Anybody's taking that any day of the week.
Yeah, pretty efficient by Boise State. There were really only a 3 or 4 minute span in the entire game where the Broncos kind of lost that quickness, that step offensively. Coach Rice called a timeout, fixed it. They became aggressive again, put 82 on the board tonight.
I think it was cool that they were able to refine that, if you will, that momentum, because they needed it.
Well, a lot of weapons right on this team. A lot of weapons for Boise State. Hopefully the chemistry has been found.
Yep.
This is the start of a big run in the month of February for the Broncos.
It is a good start. February 1st results in a win for Boise State, and getting things sorted out here shortly. But Andrew Meadow joining us here on the postgame show. And Andrew, first off, congrats on another victory. Back-to-back wins for you guys. And I think early on, you could just tell the pace, and you guys were very intentional on offense. What did you think of your guys' offensive effort this season?
Yeah, I mean, we knew they were going to be in the zone for most of the game, so all week in practice, we were really emphasizing ball movement and our pace, and the better we can get in transition, they can't set up the zone, so we really worked on that.
For you, 20 points. Against the Wolfpack, you were a little quiet offensively. What was your mindset going into this one?
I mean, those quiet nights can happen, but I just didn't let it faze me, and I knew I was going to have a big game tonight.
Andrew, was there anything different in practice this week offensively? Did you talk about getting into the offense earlier? Did you talk about quickness or passion in the first couple of passes of the possession?
Definitely just getting into it early. Like I said, if we beat the zone up the floor, they can't set up the zone, and we're going to get easy baskets to the rim. So, I think we did a great job all around as a team of just taking what we did in practice and applying it today.
Do you love playing against the zone as a shooter?
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely love it.
A few of them rimmed out, but, they're all good looks, so I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, great.
I know that when everybody's scoring, it's fun, right? But you guys have 5 guys finishing double figures. First off, I want to ask about Omar Stanley. He was one of those guys.
Yeah.
A great night for him. He's been through some, mental struggles, if you will, trying to regain his confidence. I think anybody that knows him knows that he's capable of being an all-league caliber player. What was it like to see him kind of get it going tonight? And how much did he deserve an effort like that?
He deserves it so much. He's such a great player, and just not even just that, just a great guy all around. So I'm so happy for him, and we know what he can do, so we're not really surprised by it.
Finally, get you out of here on this one, Andrew. You guys aren't just hard to beat at home. It's the fact that you guys pummel people at home. What is it about ExtraMile Arena that just seems to bring out the best in you guys?
Just the energy from all our fans. Our fans are diehard, and they really bring the energy, and they need to keep bringing the energy because we need to win every single game from here on out.
Some big ones still on the slate here at ExtraMile Arena. Andrew, we appreciate it.
Thank you.
Go enjoy this one.
Good
Andrew
effort.
Meadow, a game-high 20 points, 7 of 13 shooting, including 3 of 8 from behind the arc. The Broncos pick up a victory over the Bulldogs to start the second half of Mountain West play. Boise State feeling good after a 22-point victory over Fresno State. And now Boise State turns their attention forward. A trip to Las Vegas looms immediately in front of them on Tuesday to face UNLV. But we're just over a month out from another trip to Las Vegas, the all-important trip that could result in clinching a spot at the NCAA tournament. And when we look at this, Brian, Boise State has been able to earn that at-large bid these last couple of years. Right now, they're on the outside looking in at that. It almost is unfair to even suggest it because they have to go on a serious run in order to meet their preseason expectations.
Yeah, they really do. And you know what Coach Rice is going to say, one game at a time, one game at a time. And that's absolutely accurate and completely fair. But let's be honest, they're on the outside looking in right now. And so for Boise State, let's just say it, they're going to have to make a real shot at winning the conference tournament.
You look at some of their metrics right now, 49 in the net as of this morning, 53 in the Ken Palm rankings. Now, given the fact that they did win comfortably today, I would expect them to move up just ever so slightly. Bart Torvik does a phenomenal job as well. He gives Boise State a 27% chance to make the NCAA tournament, a 17% chance to make it as an at-large, though. So even, his metrics are suggesting, hey, there's going to be a really important tournament in the beginning of March. You better go win if you want to go, play in the big dance again.
Yeah, and I think that's really what Boise State has to be targeting, right? I mean, it's not that it can't happen, right? We remember the game against number 1 Utah State in Logan. Broncos kind of had that wrapped up and let it slip away. New Mexico has to come here. It'd be a nice opportunity for Boise State to get a big win at home before they go into the tournament. So anything is possible.
Andrew Meadow, you heard him say it. Hey, these guys need Bronco Nation behind them over these next few home games. And by the way, you only have a few more chances to watch Tyson Degenhardt as a Bronco potentially.
Boy, in the month of February, if you're a Boise State basketball fan,
be here.
You got to be here. Degenhardt, Cardenas, again, maybe one of the best point guards to ever play in Boise, Idaho. If you're a basketball fan, you better be at ExtraMile Arena in the month of February.
Alvaro with 7 more assists. He continues to track down the single-season school record. Some stats for you here. Boise State shoots over 48% overall, 38% from 3. They were really quality at the free throw line. 11 of 12 as a team. That really continues to be something that is a strong suit of this team. Again, really good on the boards. They were +9 tonight. And then turnovers, Boise State wins that battle again, Brian.
Workmanlike effort by Boise State. There was really only a 3 to 5 minute stretch at the start of the second half where they kind of went, in a funk. Other than that, they played with purpose. They played with passion. Coaching staff's going to be very happy. They're going to sleep good tonight, Jay.
I agree. Leon Rice picks up his 305th victory here at Boise State. We're getting to a point, Brian, that's a lot of wins. I mean, he's putting this record potentially out of reach, I would have to say.
I'll tell you what, he's had a really good run here, and he does such a nice job with this program. I've been to a number of practices. The kids like him. They respect him. He's built a really great culture in Boise, Idaho.
There was something subtle that happened over there by Brian, and there's been times here where you can tell the guys are a little tired, and so they take a break. But over the bye, they wanted to work, so they came together. And I know it's a small thing, but you go back and you look at some of these teams. When they want to be together, they find success. When they need time apart, especially later in the season, it doesn't always work out for them. That's why I still have some confidence that these guys with Leon Rice at the helm can right the ship and get back into the Mountain West title race.
It starts Tuesday night in Las Vegas, Nevada.
We'll see if they can do it. Boise State, again, picks up a nice decisive victory here as they start the climb up the second half of the Mountain West schedule. They win 82-60. For Brian King, I'm Jay Tuss. The rest of the crew in the truck did a phenomenal job. The Broncos pick up a win over the Bulldogs.